So Andy, we've reached the end of a challenging and exciting 2021. How do you reflect on the past year?
Well, I think first of all, from a personal perspective, incredibly excited to be at Portsmouth Football Club, to be given the opportunity to come to such a historic club and to help take it on to the next stage. But of course, as you said, it's been a challenging year. It's been a tumultuous year. We started the year obviously with an outbreak of COVID amongst the first team squad, and that's the way that we finished it, unfortunately, with games being affected and postponed. But there's lots of things I think we can look back to in terms of so much positivity. The investment in the stadium has been, something which is long overdue. It has caused some challenges in terms of relocating people during the season, but it's something now that we can look forward to in terms of restoring the capacity, Fratton Park, future-proofing it for generations to come, and hopefully going beyond that with some other exciting developments that may well start to take shape over the next few years. And of course, then we had the acquisition of the Roco training ground. Again, that is a major step forward for the football club to own its own training facilities. We've integrated the Roco gym as part of our business. That's come with a few challenges as well in terms of, again, a bit like Fratton Park, a building that probably hasn't had significant investment in it for a number of years, which we are now redressing. But we can look forward to an exciting future for there as well, for the members who use the Roco gym, of course, as well as our first team and our academy. In terms of first team, we've obviously seen changes in terms of management and coaches. We've seen a few players go, we've seen more players come into the building. And that for us, is going to be something now that we've said it would take a few windows to get the philosophy, get the style, get everything that we want to see moving forward. And in terms of the academy, a lot of upheaval there as well as we try and start to get a return on a huge investment that we make into the academy. I think it's gone on record, and I looked at the accounts again yesterday, and we are well on trend this year to spend over £1 million on academy expenditure, which is very, very, very high for a category 3 football club. Now, we have positions in the academy across all levels that are not mandatory, but really what we want to do is create the conditions that attract the best boys from Portsmouth to come and play for their football club. And if one of the outcomes of that, of course, would be that we start to see a real sort of pathway from the academy all the way through to the first team. But we've got to get everything right within the academy first. So we've made some really, really good progress in terms of making that happen. From supporters' perspective, I think people obviously would have sort of seen a few changes, having been locked out of Fratton Park for well over a season, come back, and obviously we've had to go through some new things that have happened. We had some big difficulties at the start of the season, but I think we're through a lot of those now. And of course we've gone into relocating a number of supporters to the second half of the season in the North Stand lower, which we'll come on to later in terms of how that's gone.
As you said, it's all about looking forward, and now the focus turns to the next year. What are your main aims for 2022, and what challenges are you looking forward to?
Well, we're really buzzing to take this football club forward into the next step, and there's a number of things that I sat down with our staff, I sat down with Pompey in the community and the women's team, the staff at Roco a few weeks ago, and started to outline some of the big things that we want to achieve as a football club. I mean, first and foremost, what we all want to do is see the club improve, see the first team improve, and win promotion to the championship. And we want to really make sure that we as a team, whatever we do in the building, we can create those conditions, we create that high performance environment, which will be absolutely vital in giving us that extra percentage. So yes, it's about recruitment, it's about analysis, it's about sports science and medicine, it's about integration with the academy, but also all the other things that happen off the pitch. People all play their part in helping create those conditions. So we want to see and not leave any stone unturned in terms of that journey, in terms of improving from where we are and taking us to that next step. But making sure, if we can achieve that, that sort of short-term sort of dream, getting to championship, that we've got the infrastructure in place that will mean that we can maintain championship status for many years to come, looking to progress to the next level, which I'm sure is where every supporter wants to be. It's what everybody in the building wants to be. You want to be at your best, achieve the best and aspire to the best. So that's the first thing we want to do. The second thing that's really, really important to me is to make sure that we improve service for our supporters, for our members at ROCO, for everybody who comes to work here. But most importantly, that's our focus, that we make create an environment where we provide the best possible experience for all our supporters. And that is something that I think the club has engaged really, really well, long before my time here in terms of supporters, done a lot of things. But what we want to do now is take it to another level. We want to involve supporters in decisions that affect them most, so helping us shape different things, whether it comes to ticketing, whether it comes to the moves that we're going to have to do as people move around the North Stand, the South Stand at the next stage of development as well. That will be incredibly important to us, and I think if you can create those environments, everyone feels a part of what you're trying to build. So that's the second thing we want to do. Community, really, really strong to us, because we've got some incredible people who work in Pompey in the community, but throughout the football club, we have a responsibility. We have the power to motivate, the power to inspire, and we want to build the relationships with the key players in Portsmouth, the university, the Navy, all hugely important people, but also local businesses. We want to work with them, stakeholders, and share some of the aspirations that the City Council has for Portsmouth as well, and seeing if we can play our part to bring everybody together and create an exciting future for Portsmouth. And then fourthly, I think what we have to do, one of the things that's probably all interwoven, interlinked to this, is trying to create a football club which we can constantly seek to be innovative, that we can create new sources of revenue coming into the football club, that we seek to eliminate some of the wastage that may be going on. Everybody's got their eyes on that. So ultimately, we want a sustainable football club. We've suffered huge losses last year. We're going to suffer huge losses again this year. We have an uncertain future going beyond Christmas as to what might happen in terms of our revenue coming in. Will crowds be able to come in the same numbers as they have been able to already? We'll be able to do hospitality in the same way as we've done already. So all those things are a little bit uncertain, and we're very, very keen to reduce the burden on our owners. We want to create that sustainable football club, and that's something that's come out of the fan-led review, which we're hugely supportive of at Portsmouth in a number of things that have come out of it. We wish to see greater distribution of wealth throughout the football pyramid, so we've got a really, really strong structure. And we want to see something that football clubs, if they're dependent on owners, then, if an owner comes or goes, that football club can be put into a difficult situation. So creating the infrastructure, as our owners are doing here, investing in the stadium, investing in the training ground, creates that platform which will give the club a really, really good, strong future. So those are things that we're looking to do. And the final thing I said to all my colleagues here is as well, we want to make this a great place to come and work. I've been bowled over by the passion, by the enthusiasm that so many people who work for Portsmouth have, and I want to make sure that that they're very, very clear about the direction that we want to go in. That all that enthusiasm, passion can be really, really harnessed into something special for Portsmouth Football Club, and it becomes a place where they're already proud to work for the club, but I want them to be, really, carry that inspiration on, and we then will all benefit from that, and we're all working together to achieve the very best. So whether it's the Portsmouth in the community, whether it's Portsmouth Football Club, whether it's Portsmouth women who have had an incredible sort of season so far, and we were delighted that they were able to showcase their skills and their talent in the recent game against Southampton. And 2022 is going to be a big, big year for women's football with the Euros coming to England, and that's something we want to sort of go on and build from there, and make sure that the women have a very, very exciting future, and they can achieve their dream as well of getting to Championship football, which is an important aspiration for them.
Christmas is always an exciting and busy period in the football calendar, so how disappointing has it been to lose 3 fixtures over the period to COVID?
It's hugely devastating. I mean, like the rest of the country, football's not immune from the new variant, and we've seen cases actually really afflict the first team. In some cases, 1 or 2 players are suffering really, really badly. We lost the game against AFC Wimbledon. That was followed up with the game against Exeter, which should have been played earlier in the week. And of course, the Oxford Boxing Day has gone, and Oxford in particular hurts because it was a sellout crowd, and I know how much supporters look forward to that Boxing Day fixture. My family were coming to Portsmouth, to experience the Fratton Park atmosphere for the first time, and I know, people will come back for Christmas. They'll come back to Portsmouth to be with their families, and this is a big fixture in terms of the calendar. So, really, really disappointing, devastated that we haven't been able to get the fixture on. But we're relatively hopeful that going into the games next week and beyond, that we'll have players back and we'll be able to fulfil those fixtures, and there will be something for supporters to look forward to over the Christmas period.
We've seen the recent introduction of COVID passes at football grounds. What can supporters expect when they visit Fratton Park again?
Well, huge changes. The thing that we have to do under legislation is to ask everybody to either show proof that they've been double vaccinated or take a negative lateral flow test within 48 hours of the game taking place. We are mandated by government and by our safety certificate to make sure that we perform 100% checks of everybody coming in. So we need everybody to be well prepared to upload those passes into the wallets on the phones or bring paper copies with them so that we can facilitate a very fast entry into the ground, because make no mistake about it, there will be longer queues coming in because of the extra checks. But again, we're trying to mitigate against those queues by having checks away from the turnstiles, almost like creating an outer ring before you come into the stadium. So in terms of that, the communication will be absolutely key. The first game now this will come into place will be against MK Dons on the 15th of January. So we'll be stepping up the communication. We're producing a video at the moment which supporters can download just to be completely au fait with the different procedures and processes that will be in place. We're also going to ask people as well, which will help us to fill out COVID certification form, which we're going to email out later this week. And within that, it's just simply asks you to declare that either you have been double vaccinated or that you will take a negative flow test if you attend a game here. And that's something we can then keep on our records to demonstrate to public health, to demonstrate to the Safety Advisory Group and to government that we've used best endeavours to make sure that everybody coming into the ground complies with legislation, and most importantly, other supporters feel safe. And that's the overriding concern here, that we're in a crowded venue where the transmission rates indoors can particularly be of concern. So trying to make sure that we create the best possible environment going forward.
And what will the situation be with the rearranged Oxford game?
Well, that creates some difficulties because, of course, the game was a sellout, and we have a situation when the rearranged game takes place that blocks A to E and the North Stand lower will be out of action, and those supporters will have moved into seats that potentially casual ticket holders will have purchased for that game. So what we're going to have to do is change what we would normally do, and that would be that for that particular rearranged game, we're going to refund everybody who's bought a ticket, a casual ticket for that game, and that information is being released this week. And then we will refund everybody, or they can use it as a credit to buy extra tickets for the remainder of this season and into next season as well. That means that the North Stand lower season ticket holders, should the game take place in late January, February, March, whenever it is, they've got the security that they won't have to move seats again. And then those people who have bought the tickets for this game will have first priority on the rearranged game. We wouldn't expect as big a crowd on a Tuesday night as we would have done for Boxing Day. Clearly, there were lots of people coming back to be with families for this game, which is why they bought tickets. So we should be able to look after everybody. But instead of tickets being valid for the rearranged game, that's something we can't do on this occasion.
And I believe there's some good news for supporters travelling to AFC Wimbledon as well.
Yeah, well, we're looking for some good news amongst the pandemic, and one thing I was conscious of last weekend is that a number of supporters will have booked train travel to go to AFC Wimbledon. Some will have been able to get refunds. Those that bought advance tickets probably weren't as lucky. But I think given the lateness of the postponement for this particular game, and without wishing to set any precedent whatsoever, it just seemed the right thing to do, given the circumstances of the pandemic, given the time of year, that we did something. So what we're going to do is offer a £5 subsidy for those who book coach travel for the rearranged game, which I believe will take place probably towards the end of January or into February. And that means anybody booking with Luckett's or who wishes to book with Luckett's going forward can claim that £5 discount for that game. Luckett's provide our official coach travel. I'm also aware that the central branch through Paul Banks also operate their coach service as well, and we're delighted that we'll be able to offer them the same gesture as well for that rearranged game. Going on a Tuesday night, it may be difficult to get back from London to Portsmouth late at night, so hopefully this will be a gesture, and it seemed to me to be exactly the right thing to do at this time of year.
Work on the North Stand will start in January. How's that process going to look?
Well, that's been a really complex process. To have to move 1,200 people in the ground mid-season is hugely challenging, and I'm so grateful to 20 supporters who joined the club executive on a working group back in October to actually plan for this process going forward. We had about 8 to 9 weeks to execute it. We were determined to get the process completed by the 15th of December in time for what would have been the first game against Wigan Athletic on the 8th of January. And those supporters came up with some invaluable advice and guidance as to what to do, maybe processes that we could leave till later, so we didn't try and chew off too much in one go. So I'm pretty delighted that all those new season ticket cards have been sent out. We've managed to get people in blocks F to K back in their seats as well who were dislocated at the end of the season. So that's really been a really good experience, good learning experience. I'm really grateful to the box office staff who've done an incredible job. Sean Whitmarsh, our marketing manager, Charles Ellis, our new ticketing manager, Ollie Reeves, who's managed the project to us, probably one of the first big projects he's had to manage in his young career. And we've got through it so far, but we couldn't have done it without the help of those supporters. So that's something now that we look forward into the new year, that group reconvening to go through the next stage of the process, because when people move back to their seats, they will find themselves in a different situation. The seats they'll be reprofiled, so we want to make sure that if you enjoyed an aisle seat before, you're towards the back or towards the front, that still stands and stays in place. So that's the next stage of communication. And then of course we'll go through a similar process with people in the South Stand. And whilst most of that work will take place during the close season, there potentially may be a couple of games at the start of the season where people will need to be relocated. But most importantly, when they move back to seats, again, the South Stand will look slightly different. So we need to make sure, again, that people's long-standing positions in that stand, when they would have sat with friends and family for many, many years, are protected. So we'll form a working group with South Stand season ticket holders going forward as well. And that is something that I'm really keen to do. So we get this engagement going, we get this involvement of supporters in these key decisions, these key things that affect them.
And finally, as mentioned earlier, we haven't got any festive fixtures this year, but it does give the fans some extra time to spend with loved ones. What's your message to them?
Well, stay safe. We're sorry you can't be with us on Boxing Day. Normally I'd be able to sort of share some thoughts in the programme notes to wish everybody a really good new year, reflect on the past year, which is why I was really keen that we could do this video today, Max. So I think we want everybody to really enjoy themselves. Hopefully we'll be back on the road for Plymouth and Cambridge on the 29th and the 3rd of January, and look forward very much to being back at Fratton Park on the 15th. But thank you for your support. It's been incredible. I knew that the Fratton Park atmosphere was something special, but what's really got to me is the generosity, the kindness of everybody that I've met since I've been here, walking around the ground on a match day. People are very, very positive, and they give us every bit of encouragement in terms of what we're doing. I think it's been a difficult year. I think that's been acknowledged, but I'm full of optimism and full of excitement for what 2022 can bring Portsmouth Football Club.
Well, thanks for your time, Andy, and a very Merry Christmas.
And to everybody, and to you as well, Max.